So one of the things I notice about you, because I watch you on social media, pulling tires, it seems like exercise, not just healthy eating, has always been part of your life, Dr. Esselstyn's life, and really all your children. It's not like we have to make the Esselstyns exercise. It seems to be in your DNA that that's just something you do.
Yeah. Well, actually, this morning, we've got a crazy day here. It was sort of dark this morning, and then suddenly the sun came out. It was great. And I went out because there's this tree that died, and these dead branches were just driving me crazy. So I have this fabulous thing called a samurai saw, and I went out and I sawed down this tree, and then I have clippers and I cleared this whole area around one of the pine trees, and took me about an hour to do this. In fact, I had to time it so I would get back for you to find that my internet wasn't working. But I like doing anything that's movement.
You've always exercised even before you changed your diet 40 years ago. That was something you always did.
Always. We've always, yes, we have.
Yeah. Well, that's so,
I think it's important, especially as you get older, you get stiffer. I mean, even things like yoga are good, or just stretching is good.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, because I've known you about 15 years now, and I've had the pleasure.
Hey, more than that. Come on.
Well, I think it was 2008 we met. So maybe, I think it's about 15, but you've been to my house for dinner. And I don't know, I'm sure you remember this story. It happened about 15 years ago. We were at a veg fest where your husband and son, Rip, were speaking, and you slipped on the floor on a piece of fruit that couldn't be seen, and you broke your hip. And the paramedics came, and you were 73 at the time. And I remember them quizzing you, what conditions do you have? And you're like, none. What medicines do you are? And you're like, none. And it's now 15 years later, and I think you could probably answer the questions the same way.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. What I slipped on then was somebody's salad with oil.
Oh, see, that's another reason not to use oil.
AJ, it was so crazy because Rip was talking. In fact, for some reason, he was talking, and he had been a firefighter. I don't know if he was still a firefighter then. He may have just been, but suddenly there I was on the floor listening to Rip, and then going behind him were these I don't know, ambulance or fire trucks or whatever. And I was thinking, this is so crazy.
You were actually I remember you were telling the paramedics about your son and showing them his book while you were on the gurney on the way to the hospital. Anyway, yeah, that is incredible. You've been married over 50 years to Dr. Esselstyn, right?
60 years.
60 years. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's incredible. So what of all your recipes, what is his favorite?
He probably likes rice and beans as much as anything.
Wow.
And he also really, really likes his oats for breakfast. And if he'll sometimes have them at night. I mean, I think if I weren't around, that's what he'd eat.
Wow. He likes oats. That's amazing. Yeah. So, and he's a kind of, I don't know if he's kind of an exercise fanatic too, isn't he? Is he still riding his bike like 80 miles an hour? Yeah.
He does. In fact, AJ, he has had 2 horrible bike accidents. And the last bike accident, which was maybe 7 or 8 years ago, he actually broke his pelvis and was literally in bed for 3 months. It was awful.
Wow. But he got right back on, didn't he?
Yeah, he got back on.
Wow. That's incredible. Where does he keep his Olympic gold medal? Is it in the house somewhere prominent?
It's in the, yes, we have it in the house. As a matter of fact, what I did is years ago, it was in a drawer, and we keep thinking, where is it? So I took it to a jeweler and had it put into lucite so that it now can hang instead. So it hangs in a little corner.
That's very, very cool. Do you have any friends your age, or have you outlived everyone?
Yes, I do. I have friends my age. I'm impressed with how healthy and how with it people are who are older. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. What advice can you give people in regards to, changing their diet to live a long and healthy life? Because if you notice that you work with Dr. Esselstyn in his program, so I'm sure that you encounter sometimes people's resistance.
I think there is not resistance when there is a reason. There is resistance if you're just, if I stop that person that I see in the street and say, you've got to change, forget it. But when somebody has some reason to want to change, which is one of the reasons why we think that Forks Over Knives has been such a successful movie, is that it, rather than saying to people, you should do this, suddenly people look at that movie and think, oh my gosh, I should change. And I think if that little switch happens, then people are really successful at changing. You know, I want to read you something that I happened to come across last night, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to save this for AJ, because my computer, craziest thing, I broke the glass and I got it repaired. So I went and picked it up yesterday. And when I got home, everything was just a mess on my desktop. So I was going through trying to put things in order, and out of the blue, I have no idea where it came from, was this quote of Colin Campbell's. And I think you might like to hear it. So I'd like to read it. There's only one thing that we have to do in life, and that is to die. I have often met people who use this fact to justify their ambivalence toward health information, but I take a different view. I have never pursued health hoping for immortality. Good health is about being able to fully enjoy the time we do have. It is about being as functional as possible throughout our entire lives and avoiding crippling, painful, and lengthy battles with disease. There are many better ways to die and to live. So I just thought, oh my goodness, that is such an appropriate little quote from Colin. I have no idea when where it came from, but there it was on my computer last night.
Right. I agree with you, because there are people that are living longer, but in states of debility in nursing homes, they're not living better.
It's that idea of wanting to live a rectangular rather than a sliding life.
Yeah. Well, you guys are just such like role models for aging gracefully and successful aging, I mean, do you ever think about that? You are, I mean, like I sometimes don't feel 62, but sometimes I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, boy, I got older the last 10 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, forget the mirror. That's awful. I mean, I look in the mirror and think, that is not, my legs do not have that many wrinkles. My face, no way. And so, if I stand back, it's not so bad. I just think you can't be too worried about how you look. Just how you feel is better.
Yeah, and I bet you feel great. I mean, I've never known you to be sick a day, other than when you broke your hip, which was not your fault. It was the person using oil.
That's exactly right. Using oil. Oh my God. I remember.
Just shows you how dangerous oil is. It's not only bad for your arteries and your weight, but makes you slip.
Yep. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And this is another little quote, AJ. And a patient, plant-based eating is the secret passage to life and health, like falling down the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland and emerging on the other side where so many of the most common health issues are gone and the food is just all good.